3 months after announcing his retirement with a seven-figure nest egg, James had 17 urgent calls from family members he hadn't spoken to in years. By month 6, he lost $340,000. And here's the thing, none of it was stolen. He gave it away willingly. If you're sitting on $1 million retirement fund right now, or you're close to hitting that number, what I'm about to share could be the difference between that money lasting 30 years or 3. Stay with me because reason number 4 is the one nobody talks about, and it might be the most dangerous. Look, I get it. You've worked 30, maybe 40 years for this moment. You've sacrificed, saved, invested smart, and now you've finally crossed that magical 7-figure threshold. You want to celebrate. You want people to know you made it. But here's what the wealthy have known for generations. Silence is strategic. And today, I'm breaking down exactly why keeping your retirement savings to yourself isn't just smart, it's essential. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, the relationship tax. Reason number 1, money changes how people see you, whether you want it to or not. Here's what happens the moment people know you have $1 million sitting in retirement accounts. That cousin who never responded to your text, suddenly you're best friends. Your neighbor starts casually mentioning their business opportunity. Even your own kids might start making financial decisions based on an inheritance they're already counting on. And here's the psychology behind it. Researchers call it wealthy person syndrome. The moment someone knows you have money, you're no longer just you. You become a potential solution to their problems. I talked to a financial advisor last month who told me about a client, let's call her Margaret. Margaret retired with $1.2 million. Told her whole family at Thanksgiving. Within 2 years, she'd co-signed for a daughter's business that failed, loaned money to a nephew that was never repaid, and felt obligated to pick up every single family dinner tab because you're the one with money. The relationships didn't get stronger, they got transactional. And the brutal truth, you can't untell people. Once they know, there's no going back to how things were before. Reason number 2, the guilt trap. Let me paint a picture. You've got $1 million. Your sister's struggling with credit card debt. Your best friend can't afford to fix their car. Your brother's kids need help with college tuition. You're retired. You're comfortable. They're struggling. Suddenly, every no feels cruel. Every boundary feels selfish. And here's what happens. You start making financial decisions based on guilt instead of wisdom. One retiree I know about, we'll call him David. He told his poker buddies he retired with a nice chunk. Within a year, he'd invested $80,000 into a friend's restaurant that closed in 8 months. Not because it was a good investment, because saying no felt like saying, your dreams don't matter to me. The psychology here is fascinating. Studies show that when people know you have wealth, they unconsciously recalibrate what's reasonable to ask you for. A $5,000 loan seems small when you have $1 million, but $5,000 here, $10,000 there, a $20,000 just as once. It adds up devastatingly fast. And here's the kicker. The guilt doesn't go away when you help. It intensifies. Because now you've set a precedent. Now you've shown that you'll say yes, and the asks keep coming. The only way to avoid the guilt trap, don't open the door in the first place. Reason number 3, and this one's darker. You become a target. I'm not just talking about scammers, though those are real. I'm talking about sophisticated financial predators who specifically seek out newly wealthy retirees. Think about it from their perspective. Someone who just retired with $1 million is the perfect mark. Why? Because they're not financially sophisticated. They usually save through a 401k and now suddenly have a lump sum they've never managed before. They're emotional about protecting it, they're vulnerable to fear-based tactics, and most importantly, they're newly visible. Financial planners call them financial salespeople, but let's be real, some are predators. They read obituaries, retirement announcements, social media posts. They show up at retirement parties. They sit in on community investment seminars specifically hunting for people with 7-figure nest eggs. One study found that retirees who publicly disclosed their wealth were 3.7 times more likely to be pitched high-fee investment products in their first year of retirement. But it's not just financial predators. It's scammers calling about urgent tax issues. It's fake charities. It's investment opportunities that sound incredible because they're designed to sound incredible. And here's what most people don't realize. The best defense isn't better skepticism, it's invisibility. If people don't know you have money, you're not on their radar at all. Silence isn't paranoia, it's protection. Reason number 4, and this is the one that shocked me when I learned about it. Telling people about your wealth actually makes you spend more. There's a psychological phenomenon called wealth signaling, and it's insidious. Once people know you have money, you feel pressure to look like you have money. Your friend knows you retired with $1 million. You meet for coffee, are you going to suggest the cheap diner or the nicer brunch spot? You're not going to show up in an old car when they know you can afford better. You're not going to skimp on gifts or split vacation costs the same way or wear the same old clothes. It's subtle, it's subconscious, but it's powerful. Behavioral economists call this lifestyle creep, and it's exponentially worse when your wealth is public knowledge. Because now you're not just managing your own expectations, you're managing everyone else's perception of you. I read about a retiree named Patricia who told her book club she retired comfortably. Within 6 months, she'd upgraded her car, started picking up more tabs, and began taking more expensive vacations because, in her words, I felt like I had to look the part. She didn't want to, she felt she had to. Her $1 million nest egg, she was drawing it down 40% faster than her financial plan recommended. Not because her needs changed, because her social context changed. And here's the really insidious part. Once you've elevated your lifestyle publicly, downgrading becomes humiliating. You've locked yourself into a spending pattern that your retirement funds might not support for 30 years. The freedom to live modestly when you're wealthy, that's true wealth. But you can only access it if people don't know you're wealthy in the first place. And reason number 5, it destroys family dynamics in ways you can't predict. Here's a hard truth. Money brings out the absolute worst in people, especially family, and retirement money is particularly explosive because it comes with an implied future, inheritance. The moment your adult kids know you have $1 million, they start doing math. If there are 3 of us, that's $333,000 each. It's not malicious, it's human nature, but it changes everything. Suddenly, every financial decision you make is scrutinized. You want to take a bucket list trip to Europe? That's $15,000 that could have been my inheritance. You want to downsize to a cheaper house? Wait, what happens to the difference? Are you spending our inheritance? I've seen families destroyed over this. Siblings who stopped talking because one felt the parents were wasting their money, while another thought they'd earned the right to enjoy it. Adult kids who became resentful and controlling, treating aging parents like irresponsible teenagers. And here's what makes this particularly painful. These dynamics don't emerge immediately. They build slowly, over years, poisoning relationships in ways that are almost impossible to repair. There's also the sibling comparison problem. If you help one child but not another, or if one child needs help more than others, suddenly your retirement funds become the center of family conflict. Who got more? Who deserves more? Was it fair? The only way to avoid this minefield, keep the amount private. You can be generous when you choose to be on your terms without creating expectation or comparison. Your retirement funds are yours to enjoy, not an inheritance people are watching and waiting for. So here's the bottom line. Your $1 million retirement, it's not just your money, it's your freedom, your security, your independence for potentially 30 or 40 years. And the moment you make it public knowledge, you're giving away that freedom. You're opening yourself to guilt, manipulation, predators, social pressure, and family conflict that you cannot put back in the box. The wealthy know this. That's why truly wealthy people are often invisible. They drive modest cars, they live in normal houses. They don't flash their wealth because they know discretion protects wealth, but display destroys it. If you're sitting on a seven-figure retirement fund right now, congratulations, you've earned it. You deserve to enjoy it, but enjoy it quietly. Tell your spouse, tell your financial advisor, tell your estate attorney, but beyond that, silence is your most valuable asset. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you seen relationships change when money entered the picture? Drop your stories in the comments. And if this video added value, hit that subscribe button because we're breaking down the financial truths nobody else talks about every single week. Thanks for watching. And remember, your retirement is yours to enjoy.